Welcome to Sport Buka podcast.
Yep.
Sorry we've been out of the scene for the last 2 weeks. Last 2 weeks on the bounce.
Yeah, 2
due
weeks.
to some personal reasons, we've been very busy, and as well too. Alakwood and Prodigy is missing on the show, but
Yeah.
Goke finally makes his return.
Super
For-
sub.
yes, Goke has he's been the guy that when we need somebody to play that role, he has always been there for
Yeah.
us, and as well too, Goke has been doing an excellent job. He has been the one editing the show. Behind
Thank
the
you,
scene. He has
thank
been
you.
the DOP and the editor as well too. Many thanks to Goke as well.
Yeah.
But finally, we kick off. We'll start off today on a bright note with PIJ winning the appeal for their financial reinvestigation shutdown.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, like we were saying before that I feel like it's a surprise that they actually won the case, and I feel like it's a little bit unfair on other teams in the League One.
But finally for me, I think it's not unfair. They've gone to CAS, and finally the CAS has ruled in their favor. I think they've cleared everybody's doubts.
Yeah, but are they
Everything we are saying before,
yeah.
we're just we're not sure. We're just
assuming that.
But now they've gone to court and they've won.
Anyway, they won the case. Well, they followed the right steps. But,
Yes.
but
They've
truly-
been fined. They've been fined in the last couple of years. In 2014, they were fined over 60 million euros
Yeah.
for their financial play, and now they finally won.
So you see, I think the Mbappe deal is not totally done, right?
Yes, but
it's
they
not a-
still
I
have
think they
some
can-
personal, some money they are still going
Still
to
good
pay.
so they can
Monaco
finally
as well.
finalize that
Same
one.
as Neymar as well. Too.
Yeah.
Same as Neymar.
That one. And I'm sure they're going to get new players this summer, thanks to their financial freedom now that they have. And well, I just hope they win the Champions League with all this money they're spending.
But funny enough, they're already out. They're already out.
They're already
But
out. I'm
funny
saying
enough,
maybe next season.
UEFA said they're still going to analyze the judgment by CAS. That shows that this is not sure it's done and dusted.
Yeah, okay.
Because if they find any loophole, still in this judgment,
Judgment.
the UEFA is still going to go more on.
Go on
go
with their
And now,
punishment.
let's move on to probably one of the biggest things that happened this week as well too. Now, Deontay Wilder is set to defend his WC title against Breazeale in May. Actually, he wanted to fight a rematch with
Tyson Fury. Yeah.
but the WBC.
Yeah, this is mandatory.
Yes,
it's a mandatory fight for
for
Deontay
me.
Wilder.
I think it will be like a stroll in the park.
It's a walkover for Wilder
Oh,
because
yes,
did you even see the match between Antonio and Breazeale like 2 years ago? You know, it was pretty easy for Antonio, and that was like 2 years ago. And now those guys are really they're a little bit more matured, more experienced, and I don't think it's going to be easy. Sure, Breazeale is just even Wilder is even very comfortable, very confident.
Yes,
I mean
you
that.
could see in the press conference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
he's
it's-
the
this
biggest
is-
boy in WBC at this point,
and
and he's very
he
excited.
just wants to get it done and
win the
dusted,
yes,
and
yeah,
you know, so much
and as well
confidence.
to make a lot of money. Will happen sometime in
May.
May.
May
At
May 18, I think.
Yes, at,
Yeah. In
at
New
the
York.
Barclays Center in New York.
New York,
That's
yeah.
that's where we're. And
New
as well
York.
too, Tyson Fury as well too is likely going to face him later in the year, probably by December 1st, according to the way. But that's still subject to some kind of change until both of them sit down again and agree on the sharing formula as well.
Formula, yeah. And the management from Anthony Joshua say they are still trying to work out fight between Joshua and Wilder.
Yes, probably Wilder needs that because for anybody fighting Joshua at this point, that's the biggest boy in.
Because
yes,
yeah, there were conflicts. Like Wilder was saying that Joshua's team is the one that not responding to their call. Then Joshua on one radio show said that they had sent different mails at different times to Wilder's party. At the end, that they have refused to respond to their own mail, and hopefully they will settle and sort things out so that the fight can happen.
Let's wait and see. Probably for me, that would be like the biggest fight if it happened in this year. Between Dalton Wilder and
Joshua.
But let's wait and see.
Yeah.
Quickly, let's move on to another news that have been making headline for the last couple of days between where the class of '92 of United, the likes of
Yeah.
Ryan Giggs, Nicky Butt, and the rest, have
Zlatan story.
accused managers like Jose Mourinho and the rest. But
Yeah.
now, Zlatan Ibrahimovic came out and told them that they need to get a job because they need to do more. Now they've got Solskjaer somewhere in there because it's their mates. Everybody's keeping shots. We already know this thing. But now Zlatan Ibrahimovic, which at some point in his career played for United as well too, has said that they are not entitled to that opinion because you've played over 2,000 matches for a club doesn't mean you need to. You have an opinion on everything that happens on the club.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I think it's just human. Once you set a standard for a team or for where you work, when you leave, you expect that standard to still be kept. But times change, people change. You know, they were easily moved into the senior team. They grew up as a team, as a pack. Them Scholes, Giggs, Nicky Butt. So all those guys, Gary Neville, Phil Neville, they all moved as a pack into the senior team. And that's coordination and under a very good coach, which is Sir Alex Ferguson, was there. So and again, the Premier League was not as competitive as it is right now.
But my question is, a couple of them have tried coaching and they failed woefully.
Yeah.
Paul Scholes did only like 4 matches.
Yeah, like a month.
And he was already out of the job. My question is, you've tried this thing. You should give everybody that room of doubt and everything. And I've been kind of been lenient with them. And like Ibrahimovic said, look at David Beckham somewhere building something very big in MLS.
Inter Miami.
Not that should.
Yeah.
And this applied to me even to Nigeria. 2 weeks ago, I saw Kolo Toure sitting behind Brendan Rodgers at on the
Leicester
bench, and I said to myself, where are Nigerian ex-international? This guy played almost all his life with Arsenal. Moved to join Brendan Rodgers somewhere in
Liverpool.
Celtics. No,
from Liverpool to Celtic.
Brendan was not even coach of
Liverpool then, was he? Yeah, he was.
He was.
Then
but they moved to Celtics as well.
Yeah.
And you see, they've already built that relationship. Now, Kolo Toure is already sharpening his kind of experience with him, and you could see him in the next 2-3 years. You say, you've done this and that, and the same thing happened to Zidane under Ancelotti. The first Champions League Madrid won in a couple of years ago.
The first one Ronaldo won for Madrid. With Madrid,
Zidane was somewhere on the bench behind Ancelotti.
Yeah.
And after that, with that experience, he came back to win 3 in a row. My question is for them is, go and learn the ropes. If you know you are fit enough for this job, apply for United job as a manager as well. And you've had experience with 92. You know how they build the team from academy and the rest. And try and come in and fit them. And we've seen from experience, when Sir Alex was leaving, he brought in the likes of David Moyes.
Yeah.
And it was one of the worst. Even I think Van Gaal did better than him somewhere.
He couldn't step up to the game. The thing is, I feel like Ferguson built his team in the way he wanted. They all have different patterns,
but funny enough, the way football is being played now is different. The pressure now on the managers and the footballers is beyond.
If you see someone like Pep now, he came in and demanded for money because he wanted to build his team.
For any manager or football club that wants to win anything now, you need to spend
money so that the manager can actually build his team the way he wants it. That's the same thing Klopp is doing at Liverpool. The style of play, the kind of players he wants. And as for you to be a Liverpool player right now, if you don't have these two things, speed and stamina, you cannot play on that club. If you don't possess those two, that's why you see their attacking line is like, it's crazy. It's very fast.
And they run at you. The break on the fast players.
Yes, and in the midfield, if you don't have that stamina to keep up that pace, then it's a problem for you. So I'm surprised. Anderson is not all that good. That's why he's still there. But he has that stamina to keep up with the interaction between the midfield and the attack and midfield and the defense. That interplay is always there. So everybody have their style of play. Ole hasn't done so bad.
But funny enough, because it was part of them, they used that criticism. I've seen a couple of them on Sky Sport, and since when he took over the job, they've been
Yeah,
really
someone like
brilliant.
Real has been praising him.
For me, out of the United old United players who have been on TVs across the UK, I think for me Rio Ferdinand has been the best. I remembered when they won against that was PSG when they qualified in the Champions League.
Yeah.
As much as we wanted, people were saying United qualified. Rio Ferdinand pointed out the issues of the penalties in terms of he said it was not even legit. Regardless of that, he was a United
happy,
fan.
Yeah.
You could see that kind of that objectiveness in his analysis, and I love that. Quick one to our last story. The 2022 World Cup is less than 4 years to go, and now there are surveys that we already know we are going to have a 48th World Cup, not 48 teams. But there are surveys that the World Cup is going to get messier. That somewhere Qatar will not able to meet up with the demand of the crowd in terms of infrastructures. They are going to accommodate people. There are reports, but Qatar has said it numerous times that they are ready to host the world. And for me, I've seen their infrastructures, I've seen videos and pictures. There's a social media handle of the official World Cup planning committee, and every day you see something different they are putting into place. I'm not doubting them, but it's a new system. We know before we have 32 nations. Now that's an extra 8 somewhere. FIFA has assured everybody that it's going to be one of the best World Cup we've ever seen, and we can't wait to see. But according to this report, they've said they've seen like the tension that's going to arise to human rights and everything. I don't want to sit down here and said we have a fight in our hands somehow. I think almost every World Cup when it's coming, there are always that opera of say they can't meet up. There are deadlines before the World Cup in Russia. There are so many stories about racism and everything. How
Russia, their stadiums were not ready.
Went
smooth.
Nothing happened.
It was smooth.
I know this is different even for the Qataris because they are not more of a footballing nation.
You know they have this this tension between. The thing now is that they're saying that
countries,
they're saying now that what they want to do is they want to like make it a joint hosting with Kuwait and Oman.
Yes,
and they have these issues with those countries.
Yes, but now not Saudi Arabia, Norway. We are likely going to be like cause of business between them. These two countries have had issues in the last couple of years. But for me, I don't think Qatar. I think Qatar particularly can do this on their own. But I think as well too. I think it's unfair on Qatar because when they won this bid, they won the bid for 32 nations.
Exactly.
The same thing will happen to the Nations Cup later this year. Before we strip Cameroon off, now it's
Egypt.
I think you should give the country. They've already prepared their mind for a certain number of teams to come. Now an extra 8, that's an extra more hotels and facilities as well,
and everything.
And even for their fans coming, I think FIFA needs to think this through. But so far we've already agreed to this. That's in like 4 years time. It's a long time. So many things will happen in terms of inflation. But if you book, for example, now if you build a project of maybe 16 billion naira, I don't think in the next 4 years that money is going to worth it, and you need to shoot.
Prices will go up and everything
as well. But one thing is certain for me is that regardless of what happens, when it's the World Cup, that football set in the stone. We forgot all the old stories. That will happen.
Because Infantino is like saying that it's going to. Instead of like football is probably going to melt the hearts of the people, and that's friction
of 4 years
of boundaries or friction between two countries. It's not really going to happen. It's going to help solve that issue to an extent.
Does. I could remember at some point. I was during the 1998 World Cup in France. There was an uproar between the United States of America and Iran, and when they came on the pitch, hopefully I don't think at this point I could remember the commentary was by Martin Tyler, and he said something like, now it's football, there is peace and there is unity on the field, regardless of everything that's happened on the political scene. But when it comes to football,
it's the love of the game anyway. It's the love of the game. It's the love of the game.
That's our last topic on the show this week. But before we go, this weekend there are a lot of matches across Europe and even Africa for qualifiers of the AFCON and Euro 2022 as well too.
So
that will be our last straw on the show this week. Follow us on our social media platforms.
Yeah,
you see them
on the screen.
And as well, please subscribe to our YouTube channels as well too. From Goke. For me, it's been a very good week for us.
Yeah, and we hope to see you guys next week too.
Bye.
We're back.
Hopefully, Prodigy and Olako makes a return on the show as well too.
Yeah, they will. Peace out.